Welcome to Short View Trading, your morning market hit for Monday, 25th of July. What matters today and this week for traders? Indeed, if you're looking to trade on a swing basis, on a 1 to 2 week basis, the equity index futures, what factors should you be looking at? What models should be guiding you? And how should you go about trading these markets, either long or short? And by the way, if you like these videos, please do click on the subscribe button and share on social media. It's all free content. Well, it's been pretty encouraging for the bulls in the last few weeks. I mean, in particular, if you look at the market, last week we had a number of key equity indices breaking above key moving averages. The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq moving above their 50-day moving average, led to the upside by the Philly stocks, Bitcoin and indices like that, high beta, high volatility, liquidity assets, which often tell you where the rest of the market's going. And with that, of course, tech has been outperforming, having been the underperformer for most of this year. The first 6 months, tech led the market lower. It's now leading the market higher. And in fact, interestingly, if you look at a couple of big cap tech names, particularly ones that reported last week, their price action, their technical price pattern is really very encouraging. Look at Netflix that we're putting it up in front of you now. After a sustained multi-week period of base building on its chart, it moved to the upside last week on its earnings, which, by the way, disappointed. It still moved to the upside on good volumes. Similarly, if you look at Tesla, as we put up in front of you now, a similar sort of story with movement to the upside on earnings after a period of base building. But this week's an even bigger week. Unusually, events are critical this week. A lot of events don't really matter for markets. It's more about risk appetite. But the events this week really are key. We have the Fed on Wednesday announcing its next interest rate hike, likely 75 basis points, although you never know, they may slip in 100. It looks less likely after the way things panned out last week, but still not impossible. Added to that, you've got the press conference from Jerome Powell afterwards. That'll be watched closely. Then on top of that, we've got key mega cap tech earnings this week, a whole bunch of them, whether it's Microsoft earlier this week or Intel, Amazon later this week, Apple, a whole bunch of key tech stocks with their earnings over the course of this week. And Alphabet is one in particular I think the market will watch closely. Look at the chart in front of you now. It's been following a similar sort of pattern to Tesla and Netflix. And of course, there was a little bit of chatter about online advertising being disappointed after Snap's earnings last week, and that's matters for Google. So how will Google behave this week? Equally, Meta, same story, similar sort of price pattern as well. And added to all of that, a lot of our short-term models, as the market's been rallying in recent trading sessions, recent weeks, a lot of those short-term models have moved back on to sell. Look, for example, at the risk appetite scoring system we're putting up in front of you now. So with markets moving above their 50-day moving average over the past few trading sessions, the key question is, will they hold it? This question and others, how will markets behave on a 1 to 2 week basis? How to go about swing trading these markets? What's the message of our full suite of short-term models? There's a whole bunch of them. And how do we feel about this market? All of that we look at each and every day in the Daily Rag, available to subscribers on the website. Or if you're interested in a free trial, simply click on the link below. We'll send you the Daily Rag for free for a bunch of trading sessions. No credit card details required. All we ask is your name and email address. So what are we watching this week? Well, on top of what I've already mentioned, that is on top of the Fed on Wednesday, the announcement on monetary policy and the press conference, and on top of the key tech earnings coming out over the course of this week. Over and above those factors, there's quite a lot of macro data. There's some flash inflation out of the Eurozone, German, French and Eurozone wide. That'll be watched closely. Of course, inflation's central in the debate about macro going forwards and how aggressive central banks have to be. So that is critical. And then there's a bunch of Q2 GDP data where we get any negative second quarter GDP growth. The market will be watching that closely. So that's it from us. That's your morning market hit for Monday, 25th of July. Thank you for listening. Please do subscribe to these videos on YouTube. Simply click on the subscribe button or follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter and or Facebook. Thank you for listening. Stay safe. Trade well.